Chapter 2 Parliament General Article 79 Constitution of Parliament. There shall be a Parliament for the Union, which shall consist of the President and two Houses to be known, respectively, as the Council of States and the House of the People. Article 80 Composition of the Council of States. Clause 1 The Council of State shall consist of Subclause A 12 members to be nominated by the President in accordance with the provision of Clause 3 and Subclause B not more than 238 representatives of the states and one of the Union territories. Clause 2 The allocation of seats in the Council of States to be filled by representatives of the states and of the Union territories shall be in accordance with the provisions in that behalf contained in the fourth schedule. Clause 3 The member to be nominated by the President under subclause A of Clause 1 shall consist of persons having special knowledge or practical experience in respect of such matters as the following, namely literature, science, art, and social service. Clause 4 The representative of each state in the Council of State shall be elected by the elected members of the Legislative Assembly of the state in accordance with the system of proportional representation by means of the single transferable vote. Clause 5 Representatives of the Union territories in the Council of States shall be chosen in such manner as Parliament may by law prescribe. Article 81 Composition of the House of the People. Clause 1 Subject to the provisions of Article 331, the House of the People shall consist of Subclause A not more than 530 members, chosen by direct election from territorial constituencies in the states, and Subclause B not more than 20 members to represent the Union territories, chosen in such manner as Parliament may by law provide. Clause 2 For the purposes of subclause A of Clause 1. Subclause A There shall be allotted to each state a number of seats in the House of the People in such manner that the ratio between that number and the population of the state is, so far as practicable, the same for all states, and Subclause B Each state shall be divided into territorial constituencies in such manner that the ratio between the population of each constituency and the number of seats allotted to it is, so far as practicable, the same throughout the state, provided that provisions of subclause A of this clause shall not be applicable for the purpose of allotment of seats in the House of the People to any state so long as the population of that state does not exceed 6 millions. Clause 3 In this article, the expression population means the population as ascertained at the last preceding census, of which the relevant figures have been published. Provided that the reference in this clause to be the last preceding census of which the relevant figures have been published shall, until the relevant figures for the first census taken after the year 2026 have been published, be construed one for the purposes of subclause A of clause B of clause 2 and the proviso to that clause as a reference to the 1971 census, and 2 for the purpose of subclause B of clause 2 as a reference to the 2001 census. Article 82 Readjustment after each census. Upon the completion of each census, the allocation of seats in the House of the People to the states and the division of each state into territorial constituencies shall be readjusted by such authority and in such manner as Parliament may by law determine, provided that such a readjustment shall not affect representation in the House of the People until the dissolution of the then existing House. Provided further that such readjustment shall take effect from such date as the President may by order specify, and until such readjustment takes effect, any election to the House may be held on the basis of the territorial constituencies existing before such readjustment, provided also that until the relevant figures for the first census taken after the year 2026 have been published, it shall not be necessary to readjust.